Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the RC Barn. It's been kind of busy and hectic around here, so I apologize about not getting too many uploads done here. I've been kind of busy doing a little bit of flying, been busy with work and that kind of home schedule and stuff, so been doing a few things out here, mainly getting planes ready to go to the flying field and doing their maintenance on them before they go out, doing some test flying. I'll probably have some video of that coming up soon, of how that's been going. Was going to go flying today, but it started out in the 70s this morning, and then it's now a balmy 40 degrees, 50 degrees here in Ohio. So the ceiling's front kind of fallen out, but anyhow, I had the club meeting today, and the gentleman needed fuel mixed up. I do mix my own glow fuel for my nitro engines. Nitro, some guys call it glow fuel. It's some guys call it nitro. Whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean. Anyhow, I thought I'd go through kind of what I do to mix my own fuel up. Hobby shops have kind of disappeared, and they're not on every street corner like they used to be. Used to pay about 15 to 20 bucks for a gallon of fuel. That has now gone through the roof. Last time I looked at fuel at a local hobby shop that's about an hour away, I think he was like in that $45 to $50 range. So I started mixing my own fuel. Been doing it for a while now. I've had pretty good success doing it. I usually mix up. I run pretty much strictly 15% in all my engines, except for the big Mokies. They get their own special blend. And when I have some of my older engines out running, I also mix up a different fuel blend for those guys. Anyhow, I get my nitromethane. I used to get it from Alky Digger, but he quit selling it. He was actually pretty reasonably priced. That was like 4 years ago. And I think last time I ordered nitro from Alky Digger, it was like 70 bucks shipped to my door. That's for a gallon. Now I get it from Hyperfuels. Right there. You can order it online. They're out of Houston. I see they still have it available. The price has gone up though. When I ordered this bottle of this gallon nitromethane last summer, I think I paid about 90 some dollars for it shipped to my door. The nitro has gone up. I will have prices here for you guys here in a little bit. Between the nitro and the oil, that's the most expensive part of the whole thing on mixing your fuel. But you got to keep in mind, a gallon of nitromethane will make, I kind of figured it up one time, I think it was like 10 gallons of fuel at 15% nitro. So you're not using a lot of it per gallon. So, the upfront costs are high, but then you'll have fuel for probably 2 years. The biggest thing is when you have nitromethane, is storage. You want to keep it away from any heat. Like a wood pellet stove over there that's burning away. Any kind of combustible gases, if you're going to be using like a torch or a propane torch or anything like that. And also keep it in a dry environment. Nitromethane, it is an alcohol, and it will, as soon as you open it, it starts drawing moisture into it, and that's what kills nitromethane. So if you're like me and you keep nitromethane around for a while, I ordered this last summer, and I have probably only used about half of it, and I started selling some of my fuel to local guys, just so that it's not staying around as long, because I can't burn 10 gallons of fuel in a year or two. So that's something guys might consider in your own club. If you don't have anybody making your own fuel, you might want to start experimenting with making your own fuel. And maybe you can make it for other guys and make a few bucks off of it. I currently sell it for about $25 a gallon. Doesn't really put any money in my pocket at this point. We'll go over price here and a little bit of what all this stuff costs today, like not a year ago, but today. I currently have original Technic plate, which is original Technic plate is full synthetic. There is no castor oil in there, and older engines, you want to have some caster in it, because the caster doesn't break down like the full synthetics do under high heat, and so the caster will gives you a little bit of added protection, for like if you lean the motor out a little too much, you'll still have some oil in there. It doesn't break down like the synthetic does under heat. So that's why I usually run the Super Technique plate, which is an 80-20 mix. It's got 80% full synthetic in it and 20% caster in it. So, that way I get some protection. Now, if on my older engines like my Mokies, that's all I run is caster. And we're running about 20% oil in the Mokies, 80% methanol. That's called FAI fuel because it has no nitro in it. So anyways, what I'll do today is, since I have damn near a gallon of original, I want to use this up. I will go ahead and add in the bean oil is caster. It's full caster. That's what I use in my Mokies. And if you have older engines, like, your older Foxes, Shoreline guys, that are, run that kind of stuff, you're going to want to run caster. I mean, that's, a little bit of forethought and planning out what kind of fuel you're going to run goes a long way. So, do some research on what kind of motors you're running. Read some articles. There's a lot of knowledgeable guys out there. And if you are, if you use a fuel, like I liked Omega, that's what I used before, Omega 15%. It had a caster synthetic mix to it. And I got on their website and figured out what that blend was, and that's what I started basing all of my fuel on, was Omega. I got everything kind of written down here. This was from when I started doing it. It was just jotting down notes. But you can see there, it's 15% nitro, 30-70 blend of synthetic and caster, 17% total oil content, and the rest of it's methanol. So that's kind of the low down on what kind of oils you want to run. I like Klotz. It's a little more expensive, and but I don't have engine problems either. So that's why I always run Klotz. And this is the nice thing about running, mixing your own fuel, is you can order what you can put in your fuel what you want. You're not ordering, Omega doesn't say what kind of fuel it uses or what kind of oil it uses. I know I'm getting good quality oil because Klotz is good quality oil. The other thing you can do is look on your jugs. Like this is Wildcat. This is 15% nitro, 18% oil, 67% methanol. You can also do that. Like I said, it doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter a whole lot what kind of oil you want to run. Just like I said, make sure you get your percentages right and everything. The gentleman that I'm making this for, he likes 18% oil. I usually run 17 in mine. So is it that much of a difference? No, not really. So the next thing is the mass. So there's 128 ounces per gallon of fuel. So you got to remember that number. It's 128. And this is the fuel I'm going to be mixing today, is this one right here. 10% fuel. So anyways, you take your 10%, and you times it by 128, and that gives you your ounces that you need. You can do that with your oil and your methanol. The biggest thing that I was taught when I first started doing this is make sure that your percentages here equals 100%. You'd be surprised at how many guys oh, well, I'll just do this. But make sure this is 100%. Make sure you're timesing it by 128, and that'll give you your ounces. The next thing is measuring. A lot of guys will tell you measure by weight. I don't do that. And so I got some measuring cups here. Here's one that goes up to 10 ounces there. And then I got a funnel. you want to keep this stuff kind of nice and clean. I have a smaller ounce thing here, and then I got what I call my shot glass, so you can get down into those fine. This is just kitchen stuff. You can see here I got, this is only 5 ounces, and it measures in the ½ ounce range. And then I got my bigger ones. This is what I'll do with my methanol. Some of them are, I need to get some new ones. They're getting a little old, so I'll use this one to measure. And then, like you'll see here in a minute, I'll use this one to measure, and I'll pour it back into those cups. These aren't the greatest. I think these are Pyrexes from like Walmart or something like that. They'll serve you pretty well if you get a good set. I got all this stuff from my wife. I'm like, I need stuff to measure ounces with, and she started bringing this stuff out to me. So anyways, the methanol, I got a gallon jug here, 5-gallon jug here that I keep my methanol in. I did not open the top and put the spout in. I just take it off so I can keep that seal in there that came from the factory. It works pretty good. This is also alcohol based, so I don't think this is as bad as the nitromethane about absorbing the water out of the air. If I can spit it out. I get this at a local go-kart shop. You'll have to check for other supplies, because if you can find this locally, this is what makes or breaks your feel. You don't want to order your methanol online if you can get away with it, because you need so much of it. I mean, in my blend here, I'm going to, it's 92 ounces. It's almost the whole gallon of fuel is going to come from this. I get it locally at $6, $6-ish a gallon. You got to bring your own jug to get it. They order a drum of it, and they dispense it that way. So you got that going. But yeah, that's how I kind of how I keep my fuel here. And we'll mix up a gallon. I'll show you how I do that, and then yeah, that'll be today's video. Well, let's figure out where we're gonna put you here. New airplane. And I gotta fix one. Alright. Let me get you in there. There you go. Alright, well, let's start. I always start with, we got an empty jug here. I gotta mix 3 gallons up for this guy. I hope I got enough materials here. So I always start with my oil. So I'll put the funnel in here. And then since I gotta mix it, so it's 18.4 ounces. This is 16 of the synthetic, which is this. And I broke this down by, timesing my 80-20% mix into the 23.04 ounces that you need. Anyways, it's just all about measuring stuff. I get my oil off of Amazon. I'm sure there's other sources if you didn't want to, if you're not a, supporter of Amazon. I think the super tightly plate is, oh yeah, I was going to do that. Let's finish doing this first. We'll finish making the fuel, and then I'll go over the prices with you and what it actually, downright what it cost me to make this. So that's 16. I need the 18.4. $17. 18. Yeah, that'll work. I'm just kind of eyeballing this a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. Like I said, that's my little shot glass. I'll pour the oil in. I always start with the oil first. Get that in there because then I can use my methanol to wash all this out and clean and get the oil out of here. You know, the residual that's left over, because they'll mix with it. The other thing that I learned by doing this is do not mix your fuel and then go fly with it. Let it sit for a little while. That's the wrong cap. Duh. There it is. I will usually I try to mix my gallons of weeks in advance, and when I go flying, I'll throw that fresh gallon in the truck or in the trailer and go drive and go to the flying field or let it run around a little bit. So that way it'll mix in. You can shake it and I'll do all that. Biggest thing is let it sit for about a week at the minimum. So we need 4.6 ounces of castor. I can do this with this. A little over 4.5 ounces. There we go. I'm probably gonna have to go get more castor here pretty soon. I don't know that I got enough to make 3 gallons. There's our 80-20 mix of oil. Oh, a little bit left in both of them. Then we'll move on to the methanol, 92.6 ounces. This can be a pain. So what I usually do here because I can't count. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Not really. I get you in here a little closer. How's that? There you go. I usually use my phone to keep track of how many ounces I've poured here. The nice thing about these clear guys is you can kind of see on the inside where your lines are at. A touch more and we'll be at 32 ounces. Like I said, don't have to be super accurate, just got to be there. $32, 36, so we'll need 3 of these. Let that go a little bit. So I gotta do some math in my head now. Where's my pen at? Right there. So 64. Well, if I have 3 of them, that's 96. I need 92. just kind of looking at these. They're finally kind of settling down a little bit. I should get these marked again because, like I said, the measuring has kind of went off. So that's a little off. That's a little off. And if you did this by weight, I mean, it's a lot more expensive, but it's a lot more accurate. I don't do that. So we got 64 ounces now. We need 92.16. Okay. So we need those two. Right there. That's pretty good. And we need 28 ounces. So that will be two of these. Probably went a little over. Oh yeah. Oh, these look a little low. We'll be alright. Alright, so we'll put 20 to 10. And 20. Now we need 8. A little over 8. So we'll put some in here. Get rid of the oil a little bit. See, it just helps rinse out some of the oil. There ain't much left in there. There's our 8. That should be good. We'll do the nitro with this. Alright, let's go ahead and get these. Get the 64 ounces in here. And you'll see why I hate these cups so dang much, because they're so big. And yet, you'll end up making a damn mess. Because they don't pour for the crap, see? It just kind of goes everywhere. Or it comes out the front, and I don't know why it does that. I'd like to try to find some better cups. I got better spouts on them. Actually not doing too bad this time. That's why I don't ever fill them up all the way. Because they just spill. And I try to have like I got a cup over here on the side, so if I do spill any, this one's going to be a little funner because it's a little fuller. Let's see. There we go. Some of the if it drips, it'll go into the cup. See, there it goes. Just gotta go slow with these guys. Okay. Not that bad this time. Okay, there's that. Now we gotta get the nitro. Now what I do with the nitro is I try to open it, measure it, and get it in the thing, and then seal the gallon jug back up. You do not want this open for very long. That's why I wait to do this last. It's 11.2 ounces. I can get all of it with this cup here. This is a 16 ounce cup. We'll go a little over 11 ounces. And get it sealed back up. You'll be able to tell just by how full you make the gallon how accurate you are. So anyways, when you're done, you can see it's dark at the bottom and it's real light at the top. And then we flip it over. I don't know if you can make that out or not. See all that right there on the top? That's oil that's just stuck there. And it's not mixed. So I usually give it a couple good shakes. Make sure your lid's nice and tight so you don't blow it out over everywhere. There you go. Now, you see that foam at the top? Right there? I don't know if you can make that out or not. But that's what it kind of happens when it's in the airplane. You can see it in there, the foam. It kind of quickly dissipates. I've never had a need. I've never had a problem with my glow fuel foaming. I usually put them in rubber. You know, put my tanks around rubber. You know, foam. Got a tank right here. You know, so it's not sitting there doing this. You know, up against the side of the fuselage. It's in a cushion. You know, wrap it, get it around there, fill all the voids in. Keep the tank nice and secure, and you won't have fuel foaming issues. If you do have fuel foaming issues, like if you're doing this in an RC car or boat, you know, something along those lines where you can't, you know, isolate the tank very well, put a couple drops, and you think I'm gonna be nuts, but you can put a couple drops of Armor All in it, you know, from for like your leather seats and everything, and it's got some kind of ingredient in it that prevents it from foaming, and it only takes 2 or 3 drops to stop it from happening. I've seen the proof, and I've done it once myself. It doesn't affect the glow fuel at all, or the engine, the runnability of it. And so anyways, the other thing that I ever noticed with this fuel is when I started mixing my own, my engines made a little bit more power. And I had to lean them out a little bit because it was like from Omega to this. I don't know why, whether it's the clots or maybe I'm getting better nitro. Nitro doesn't really, or maybe I'm just getting better ingredients, but my engines just run a little bit better and they're just a little more power there. It's like you can just, you know, you start it up and the thing runs rich and you got to lean it out. Like every engine I've owned, I've had to lean out 5 or 6 clicks when I start running it on my own fuel. So, you know, when it was running, you know, when I started doing this take place. So anyways, I broke this down. So today I looked up on hyperfuels.com what a gallon of nitromethane costs shipped to my door. Now this is from Houston, Texas to, you know, up here in Western Ohio. So you got to pay hazmat on that because it's a hazardous material. And it was $113.69 shipped. That's 88 cents an ounce. And so anyways, Super Technique plate today on Amazon is $60.16. I would imagine if you're buying on Amazon, you're a member, or you're at least getting free shipping at this point. So I didn't put any shipping on there. I imagine shipping's only a couple bucks if you had to pay for it. And that was $60.16, or it's 47 cents an ounce. The methanol, I pick it up locally for $6 a gallon, and that's 4 cents an ounce. So we used, it took $11.26 to get our 12.8 ounces. It took $10.82 for the oil, and it took $3.68 for the methanol. So, altogether we're like $25.16 to mix, and that's 10% fuel. So 15%, it would go up a little bit. You're losing 19 ounces of nitro instead of 12, and that's more expensive. So, but it's right in that area. It's going to be, $25 to $30 to mix up a gallon of fuel. And that's nitro. Now, if you go just methanol and castor 80/20, you're talking even cheaper, because that's mostly methanol. And then the oil becomes the most expensive thing. So, 20% castor in FAI fuel, it's 25.5 ounces. So, that's it's like $15. So you're into that fuel for $18 or so. So it doesn't actually, it's cheaper for me to run these the big low engines per gallon than it is to have these smaller engines. Now the smaller engines are more fuel efficient, so a gallon lasts longer. A gallon of FAI fuel in my Mokies, that's about 4 to 5 flights, full tanks. So if I cut my flights a little bit and I only, fill it up, halfway every time, and I keep my short flights to a minimum, that helps me out. So anyways, that's where I'm at with, excuse me, glow fuel, mixing your own. I hope you, got something from this. I've got 2 more gallons to mix for my buddy so he can fly for the year. He's got some guys he's going to be training too. So anyhow, we'll cut this one off here, and hope you guys liked it. If you guys got any comments, I know this can, I don't want to get into castor versus synthetic, or 15 versus 10, oil contents and all that. That's all personal preference, and it's also, like I said, look at your, if you're an OS user and you got a bunch of 46 AXs or 60 AXs, they're probably going to take pretty much the same fuel. And, go, if you want to do that, go with what OS recommends for oil content in their engines. If you go, they say if you go synthetic, you can go less oil content in your oil, which will be cleaner runs and makes your airplane cleaner. I have not, I haven't experimented with that yet. So anyways, use your own judgment. Do what you guys do at the field. If there's a fuel you like, follow it, or follow right manufacturer recommendations. The only thing I would say is, as far as oil is, make sure you're using the correct amount of oil for your application, and go from there with it and have fun. So it's just a hobby after all. So anyways, I hope you guys like that. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll catch you on the next one.